workplace situation and people think if you are a little bit assertive and you are a woman that you're bossy or you're pushy, we want to get past that double standard. Please welcome Sarah Vermunt. The book is Find Your Way to Feel Good Work, and we talk a lot about being in the workplace environment. We haven't talked a lot about being a woman and being in a position of power in the workplace. And there is that double standard that comes up again and again. What are men seen as when they take charge?
Well, typically when men are in a position of leadership and demonstrating leadership, they're seen as confident and assertive. And when us as women, when we exhibit those same behaviors, very often we're perceived as bossy or pushy.
Yeah.
So there is a double standard for women who are either in leadership positions at work or seeking positions of leadership at work.
Right. We have to be we're doing this dance as to how we can navigate it.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for us when it comes to navigating this?
It's tricky because really the long-term solution is systemic change, right? So changing the way we socialize boys and girls and changing corporate culture and lots of things that take a long time. So we need to continue to work on that stuff while having a few strategies to navigate the existing system. So it's kind of like long-term, short-term. And one of the best things we can do as women to navigate the existing system is to assert ourselves more and speak up more in a variety of ways at work.
Well, this is not just a general, blanket statement. This is happening anecdotally. There's actually statistics to back it up. When we are in meetings, something very interesting is happening with women and men and women and women. What's happening?
Yeah, women tend to get interrupted more in meetings than men get interrupted. And so this is not necessarily, by the way, always men interrupting women. Women also interrupt other women more than we interrupt men. And what this tells us is that as a society, we obviously tend to assume it's more okay to interrupt women than it is men. And that's not okay.
It's not okay. It's very interesting. You're basically saying what I have to say is more important than what you have to say, and what you have to say is actually not that important at all.
Yeah, and so as women in the workplace, we want to do two things. We want to make sure that we're really intentional about not interrupting our female colleagues, and we want to make sure that we don't let ourselves be steamrolled when someone tries to interrupt us.
What do you do? Do you just start talking really loud? What do you do?
A lot of us, we tend to stop the minute someone tries to interject because we want to be polite and we want to make sure everyone's heard. But I'd love for us to shift our thinking. In making sure everyone is heard, we have to include ourselves in that as well. So, just continue if someone tries to interrupt. It doesn't feel natural for a lot of us, but it's really important to finish your point and then give other people an opportunity to speak.
Love it. Yeah. Very good. Let's talk about asking for what you want. You have to speak up about the things that you want because people, shockingly enough, are not reading your mind.
Yes, I know. It's funny how that works, right? Yeah. And so as the saying goes, you don't ask, you don't get. And that applies for, promotions, pay, projects, a lot of things at work. So there's a new study out that actually says that only 7% of new female graduates negotiated their starting salaries, while 57% of male graduates negotiated their starting salaries. That's 8 times more men asking for more money than women asking for more money. And so the reason this is really important is your biggest opportunity to get a raise and get more pay at work is when you're hired, because that's actually when you have more power. They really want you, and so that's when you should be asking for more money.
I have so many stories about that topic. I was at one news organization, and I was so happy that I even got in there. I barely negotiated my starting salary. And then, I was sort of neck and neck with a male colleague. We were both backup anchors. We were both reporters. We both put in the equal amount of worth. We were both valued the same. And one day we were chatting, and he told me his salary. I wanted to pass out. He had negotiated his salary. He had gone for it, and he'd sold himself well, and I hadn't.
Yeah.
So it really is on us. We have an opportunity to get in there. But I will put out a caveat right now. When you do fight for money and when you do fight for promotions, people will make it very uncomfortable for you.
Oh yeah, it's probably not going to make you popular.
It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to fight for yourself, and that's why we're not doing it. We feel uncomfortable about it, but get uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's important to, it's really more important to be respected than liked.
Really good topic, and we will keep this topic going on the show, so thank you, Sarah. I love that.